In Belfast, thousands of Roman Catholic and...
Once again, the news brings the day's events, both at home and abroad, to our screens.
In western France, where there's also been very little rain, several thousand holidaymakers had to be rescued by sea. A huge forest fire trapped them on an Atlantic coast beach. Jack Starr reports.
More than 3,000 acres of bone-dry pine forest went up in flames near the coastal town of Lyon. And with a strong northeasterly wind speeding it along, the fire roared towards the beaches on a 6-mile front.
But this particular bulletin came at a weekend when sometimes there's a chance to show something a little bit different from the usual diet of troubles and disasters.
This morning, that the children are all safe.
Cut you. At Knebworth in Hertfordshire, 170,000 pop music fans are tonight awaiting what might turn out to be the Rolling Stones' farewell public performance. The group's due to make a 2.5-hour open-air appearance. A report on the fans' day by Simon Drake.
A cold and cloudy start to the day did nothing to deter the crowds. They came by car,
By bus, in trucks and on motorbikes. But most of all, they came on foot, in their tens of thousands. By 9 o'clock, the police estimated at least 50,000 fans were already on the 250-acre site of the third Knebworth Music Fair. Many had slept there overnight in makeshift camps scattered around the grounds. To cope with the enormous build-up of traffic, the Hertfordshire police opened up 2 of the nearby motorway's southbound lanes to vehicles moving north. It helped, but not much. Despite predictions of trouble, the one-day concert got underway with few incidents. Noisily perhaps, but in an atmosphere of carnival and high expectation for this evening's appearance at the Rolling Stones. Well, that story was made some time ago. It's what we call in news terms a soft story. Interesting, but not exactly a headline grabber or a moment of high drama. But it's a good one, perhaps, for giving you some idea of exactly what's involved in filming even a simple item. One that, in this case, ran for just 55 seconds on the bulletin. I was a reporter who went to the Stones concert that day, so let me show you how we put the film together. The first thing we wanted to film was the traffic jam, so we went to Hatfield, where the police had told me they thought the build-up would begin. It was frustrating to find that we were clearly in the wrong place.
Yeah. We go
There's
up,
obviously nothing to be gained by standing around here.
we get up to Knebworth turn-off and have a look up there.
Yeah, and we catch both traffic going both ways, and then we're going to have a look at the side.
On the side.
Okay?
Yeah.
Great.
We'll see you up there.
We did eventually find the traffic jams, but it's so often the case that delay had put us behind schedule. And when you're hoping to complete filming in time for the early evening news, even a 10 or 20-minute hold-up can be very important. News coverage rarely works exactly as planned. There nearly always hitches of some kind or another. For example, I'd already got permission to film from the local police, but when we actually got down to it, the constable on the beat, the motorway in this case, was clearly not aware of the arrangements that had been made. So there we were working away, and a policeman walks up and says, "What do you think you're doing here?" And I say, "Well, I've talked to Inspector so-and-so," and then he says, but how do I know? And so he has to check our story. Another small complication, but one that again can cost valuable time. Carrying the tripod's a different kind of problem. There's almost a standing joke between reporters and camera crews. The tripods are awkward and heavy, and a reporter really has got nothing to carry except a tape recorder and a notebook. But the cameraman's got a great deal to hump around, and that can be extremely tiring, especially if it's a hot day or if it's a fast-running story. So the reporter does his duty.
Motorway, please.
Anyway, we'd found our traffic jam, and undoubtedly, I think, shot too much film on it. There's something else you have to watch. You see the shots, you want to take them, and before you know what happened, you film 2 or 3 minutes of traffic jams, and all you need is 20 seconds.
A couple of minutes.
can get them all tramping in, things like that. And they came by foot and on motorbike and all the rest.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Involved in the sitting stuff. One often goes into situations like at Knebworth where in television terms, in terms of pictures and images, there's a tremendous amount happening. Everywhere you turn, there's something which adds to the atmosphere of the event. And it's terribly frustrating to know that you've got to be realistic and remind yourself that you're aiming for a story of a minute, not a half-hour documentary.
They were going to go next to the tower.
But why are we covering this particular story? Is this really a news event? Well, to some extent, yes, it is. The fact that 170,000, 200,000 people come together to listen to music, I think that's something worth reporting. At the back of one's mind, and perhaps this is the nature of news, one tends to think, well, maybe there's going to be trouble. Even in the early stages, when back in the newsroom the decision is first taken to cover the story, people are saying, well, you never know, there could be. I think one has to try and keep this kind of thinking under tight control. Yes, there could be trouble, but it's too easy to pick on a small incident, somebody throwing a bottle, a scuffle in a crowd. When you put it in perspective, you've got tens of thousands of people having a good time. One or two climbing a fence, perhaps, to try and get it free. But it's too easy to show that shot and make it appear as though the whole day has been fraught with problems. Whereas, as the police put it afterwards, they get more trouble at the local pub on a Saturday night than they had here during an afternoon and evening when 200,000 people got together to listen to music. Must keep an eye on the back fences, though, just in case. They've already been breaking down some of those fences by the looks of it. Huh?
The police have got an eye on it at the moment.
Having just returned from a long stint in East Africa, it was a pleasant change to find myself at Knebworth. Very refreshing for somebody who spends most of his time covering wars and disasters. The news isn't, of course, always made up of such dramas, but many of the stories are, in fact, crises of some kind or another. As soon as the main parts of the film have been got together, then it's time to start thinking about the script. You know more or less what the cameraman shot, so the shape of the story should already be clear in your head. Apart from actually writing the script, you must also give guidance to the film editors to the sequence of shots, which one goes with which line of script, and so on. So in the middle of all the noise, however much you may be enjoying yourself, you've got to shut it all out, stop for a minute, and think about how it's all going to fit together, and what it's going to look like on the screen. Work conditions are rarely ideal. There's no good wanting a chair to sit on. You've got to write your script on the bonnet of a car, or in a ditch, or in the middle of a riot, then you've got to do it. But that's how I like it. I wouldn't want it any other way. Ready when you are, Derek.
Okay.
Can you use it next time? Hardly hear yourself think, let alone do a script.
Right.
Right. News is immediate, you're involved in it, it's improvisation, it's there, you're working fast and the pressure is on. Cold and cloudy start to the day did nothing to deter the crowds.
A little bit more.
They came by car, by bus, in trucks and on motorbikes.
Okay, fine.
Okay?
Yep. Okay, Simon?
Right.
Running.
Running?
No, it's not running. Right.
Simon Dring, track for Knebworth. A cold and cloudy start to the day did nothing to deter the crowds. They came by car, by bus, in trucks and on motorbikes. But most of all, they came on foot, in their tens of thousands. There's a great deal of satisfaction at the end of the day when you see your efforts going off safely at last in the hands of the dispatch rider and knowing that in 2 hours or so it's going to appear on the screen. The worry always is, though, that whether or not it will work, how closely the end product will resemble what you set out to do at the beginning of the day.